In Cui Huaze's kitchen is an array of gifts that the Four Seasons have bestowed upon them. During major cold, the coldest time of year, the small village is covered with snow and has a scarce population. Her daughter, who is working in South Korea, called several days ago, and she's coming home to celebrate the Spring Festival. Cui Huaze especially kept this frozen food for her daughter as a New Year gift. She collected them in the mountains last spring. On a clear spring morning, the rain starts to fall. The river water that suddenly rises gathers shoals of small fish at sharp turns downstream. Only after mid-May each year do the signs of spring start gradually appearing at the foot of the Changbai Mountains. When the forested mountains in front of her house turn green, Cui Huaze must go into the mountains early to look for the green traces of wild vegetables. The freshest wild mountain vegetables exist in the short period between the 6th and 7th solar terms of Guyu and Lisha. Over a dozen days, various plants come forth with the rain. These wild vegetables can be found everywhere in the large virgin forests of the Changbai Mountains. Smilacina japonica and other Eleuthero grow in the open forest areas, and Atherium multendatum and common bracken grow in the low-lying valleys. But Cui Huaze prefers Austericum seaboldi in late spring, which is a kind of wild celery that grows in the mountains and has a fragrance like pine oil. With dozens of years of experience picking wild vegetables, Cui Huaze is very familiar with these plants. Just casually picking a random vegetable, she still knows its name. The bamboo basket she carries on her back allows good ventilation and ensures that the wild vegetables stay fresh under the heat of the sun. There are only 10 days in a year when wild vegetables can be picked, because as the weather heats up, the wild mountain vegetables gradually become old and wood-like. Thus, during this short period of time, people shuffle back and forth from the mountains every day picking wild vegetables. Yaoshui village, where Cui Huaze and her family live, is over 30 kilometers away from Ardao Bai He town, at the bottom of a valley in the Changbai Mountains. There are only 2 households in the village, where the people live an almost isolated life from the rest of the world. The Bai River flows with the water from the Changbai Mountains and the medicinal spring in the mountains that has a high content of carbonic acid supplies this area with an endless stream of natural water.
하나의 거지? 해먹. 거지? 하나야, 거지? 아이고.
The picked wild vegetables are washed in river water, scalded in boiled water, and then immediately cooled in cold water. They can be stir-fried or served cold with a sauce. These are basically the two ways they are eaten. But generally speaking, these wild vegetables are packed and then immediately frozen. They'll be eaten at any time in the place of fresh vegetables when they're needed after spring. They can also be stored by caring mothers for their children who return home to celebrate the Spring Festival. Last spring, little Danya couldn't speak. Within less than 1 year, she has grown much taller. On this day, Piao Yingji, Danya's mother, is returning home. Cui Huaze began preparing a welcome dinner for her daughter early in the morning. Cui Huaze puts glutinous rice, dates, ginseng and honey into a chicken and stews it in a large pot for about a day. When her daughter comes home at night, the chicken with glutinous rice will be ready. As the chicken is being cooked, the wild mountain vegetables that Cui Huaze has stored for a long time are defrosted. The ice gradually melts, and the stems and leaves are still emerald green as before. These vegetables, with the light fragrance of spring and autumn, are going to be cooked for the new year.
然后1个月一个样，关键是，然后我跟孩子那么长时间不见面，哎呀，所以对我来说，可能这辈子就这么一点遗憾就在孩子身上。是我要是没有丹雅，我根本想没想过出国。后来我寻思丹雅不行，我也不小，30来岁了，怎么也得拼一把。
丹雅妈妈要来了，
哎呀！
哎呀，可以了吗？
什么呀？
妈妈来了吗？妈妈来了。
妈妈，想死你了，等等。亲亲还没辛苦了，等等，还没辛苦呢。啊，姥姥辛苦了。
我的안녕了。
사랑해요。
妈妈
呀，高兴吗？啊，妈妈也高兴。丹丹高不高兴？等等。
Every year when celebrating the Spring Festival, someone is busy in the kitchen, as the children are playing and the elders are enjoying their time. And this is a mother who is preparing a home-cooked reunion dinner that everyone in the family looks forward to. As the wild vegetables can't be taken away, Piao Yingji can only eat them at home during the Spring Festival. She used to go with her mother picking wild vegetables in the mountains, but now she is also a mother. She plans to take her daughter Danya to live with her abroad after the Spring Festival. Cui Huaze is unwilling to let her little granddaughter go, but she also hopes that her little granddaughter can be with her own mother.
好的，挺顺利的。
顺利的
啊，
挣多少钱了？
啊，还没挣那么多。
你得多挣一点，给孩子上学得那个什么呀？
是啊，这不在挣呢吗？
得攒着呀。
啊，得攒。
The abundant harvest at the beginning of the year gives the family wild spring vegetables to enjoy for the Spring Festival in the cold of winter, because Cui Huaze has stored them. All the food is natural and inexpensive, but it makes the family feel warm inside due to its simplicity and vitality. The forested mountains, the flavour of wild vegetables, and family affection that comes from blood relationships never changes. Just like family affection, good food is always light and original.